Good morning, guys, as you join us here on the 11th day of the 11th month. We decided, well, the plan was originally to come here a couple of weeks ago, but you had that AI, artificial intelligence meeting here with members of state, Kamala Harris, the Deputy President of America, or Vice President should I say, Richie Sunak was here, so was the likes of Elon Musk and representatives from all over Europe and the rest of the world, to have a conference here. So the whole area was sealed off, you could not gain access. So it's ironic that we arrive here at Bletchley Park to do a tour, show you guys what's on offer. We've just passed, literally, we stood in silence in the queue because it hit the 11th hour of the 11th month, and we humbly stood there for 2 minutes in silence, as you should do. And we are going around here. Rachel is kind of being interactive. She's listening to Stephen Fry because there's an audio tour which you pick up for free in the kiosk in here. You can have one per member of your party go around, and it'll give you a tour which you can pause at any point, go back over something if you didn't quite understand it, as you go around and explore the little blocks, the likes of Alan Turing's barn area and the house itself and everything that's on offer. So without further ado, let's go and do it.
This is Bletchley Park. It happened here.
Stunning old messenger bike from the Second World War. Truly beautiful bit of machinery. It is a brisk but quite beautiful day here. There's very little wind about. You can see the autumn turning in the trees, the colours, the reds, the yellows, the browns. You can see the house there in the distance. Well, this is the mansion house, aka Bletchley Park, aka before that, or what we know as Bletchley Park, was Station X during the Second World War, the home of the code breakers. This is where your officers area would have been, and it was actually a CIA member, a guy by the name of Sinclair, that purchased this off one Sir Herbert Leon. Now, to me, that significance is the fact that Sir Herbert Leon, I went to Leon School, it's now called Sir Herbert Leon Academy. It was his money. He was, I think he was a broker, and Leon School then become Knoll School in Bletchley, the top of Bletchley High Street. And I think there is some information depicted and dedicated to them in there.
Frank Birch, born 1889, aged 50. Cambridge historian and actor. Head of Bletchley Park, German Naval Section, September 1939. Became head of Naval Section 1940. Died 1956, aged 67. In the early days, Bletchley Park's success owed much to the lack of hierarchy and rules. The top brains were brought in and encouraged to do whatever was needed to solve the problems presented to them. They worked all night. They threw cups into the lake if taking them back to the canteen distracted them. And they could cycle around wearing gas masks to keep hay fever at bay. It was a unique, creative, and highly successful environment for code breaking.
Not many people come down to this part, but this is the gate, the area where the old dispatch riders would have come through. People just seem to overlook it. It's a bit out of the way and off the beaten track. And this would have been some form of sentry post, guard. The bike would come through here and up towards the gate area.
This is called
Enigma had been available since 1923. When the German Navy started using it in 1926, it was taken off the open market, and the Germans began modifying it to make it even more secure. The Army and Air Force adopted it shortly after. A portable device which ran off a battery, Enigma could be used in the field to encrypt and decipher messages. An operative would encrypt a message, send it in Morse code via radio, or wireless as it was then known, to a recipient who, by typing the encrypted message into their own Enigma machine, would decipher it. To ensure that the message could not be broken easily, the machine had a number of settings which the operator adjusted each day. For the system to work, the sender and recipient of the message needed to have their machine set up exactly the same way.
We're now going to enter the area where the bomb is. Now, the bomb was a machine that would decipher the codes hidden in the Enigma. Growing up, I always believed that the Enigma machines were the idea of cracking the code, but it was the code that was within the Enigma, and what the bomb deciphered is where the war was won.
For our military leaders during World War II, a bomber aircraft is a straight line, from instruction to target. A soldier in the field, a naval ship, is a dot on the waves, a dot or a dash of encrypted Morse code. For the thousands of people working at Bletchley Park, the instructions, encrypted by an Enigma machine, were a series of lines, of pathways made by the code through the machine, hidden inside from a press key to lit up bulb. Guess the pathway, break the code, read the message, save the target. By 1939, these pathways were getting more complicated. British progress, hard work by the Poles, frustrated by the changes the Germans were making. In a race against time, a communications arms race, a race to save lives, the number of pathways a key press could take through an Enigma machine was greater than the number of seconds since the universe began. Yet Turing started down a path, a new approach to finding the single correct route among all the others, not working alone. One signal among many, the work of engineers and cryptographers, without computers, with logic. To build and adapt a machine would follow through a day's clues and discount millions of impossible leading someone, on a good day, back to the instructions, the weather words, and those few words that might save a ship.
Hitler's armies invaded Russia in the summer of 1941, and the messages picked up by Bletchley's codebreakers after that point were the most distressing that any of them ever dealt with. It became clear that as they advanced, German troops were slaughtering thousands of Jews. The messages of the German police and of the SS who went into Russia to mop up make chilling reading.
By midday today, a further 3,600 had been executed, so that the complete total for those executed by the brigade is now 7,819. This brings the total in my area to more than 30,000. The 1st SS Brigade has taken 85 prisoners and shot dead 283 Jews, whilst the Police Regiment South has shot dead 1,342 Jews.
Churchill has been accused of covering up this intelligence in order to protect what Bletchley Park was doing, but nothing could be further from the truth. Private dossiers were sent directly to Churchill, and on the 24th of August, clearly angered by what he read, he made a radio announcement to the nation in which he said, "Whole districts are being exterminated. Scores of thousands, literally scores of thousands of executions in cold blood are perpetrated by the German police troops upon the Russian patriots who defend their native soil. There has never been methodical, merciless butchery on such a scale or approaching such a scale. We're in the presence of a crime without a name." By not mentioning the Jews as the focus of this genocide, Churchill did protect the detailed information that was coming in from Bletchley, but he did not remain silent.
1940, the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, launched an attack on British coastal ports and airfields. Hitler was planning to invade and needed control of the skies over Britain if his army was to land safely. The RAF fought back in what Churchill christened the Battle of Britain.
Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization. Upon it depends our own British life and the long continuity of our institutions and our empire. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty. So bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
Yes. Once the messages are broken in Hut 6, they're passed on to the watch. The messages come in batches of between 15 and 20. They're poked through the tunnel, and the watch sort them into priority to make sure the most important messages are processed first.
I see. Neat. And the guys on the watch turn them into intelligence reports?
No, that's not what the watch does. They amend and translate.
What do you mean, amend?
The German messages aren't always complete.
Oh, yeah. They said in Hut 6 that the intercept operators can't get every letter because of poor reception.
That's right. Experts work out what the missing words are and then translate the messages into English.
I see. What happens next?
The messages are turned into an intelligence report, but to make sure no one knows we've an enigma, they're made to look like an agent's report.
Alan Turing, born 1912, aged 27. Cambridge mathematician. Head of Naval Intelligence Team, February 1940 until mid-1942. Brilliant mind credited with laying the foundations of modern computing and artificial intelligence. After the war, worked at the National Physical Laboratory and designed the ACE, one of the earliest stored program computers. Joined Manchester University's Computing Laboratory in 1948. Died in 1954, aged 41.
Climbing down the conning tower into the blackness below. Time is running out for the men who are frantically collecting the priceless books and documents on the U-boat. Whilst the U-boat is gradually filling with water, the two men have various enigma treasures to grab, who, after exploring the engine and control room, has positioned himself on the U-boat's conning tower. Abandon ship, Brown screams, and plunges into the dark waters to be rescued by the boat crew. At that moment, the ill-fated U-boat suddenly takes in an enormous amount of water and rapidly sinks, taking Tony Fasten and Colin Grazier with it. The bodies of Fasten and Grazier were never recovered. Almost certainly they drowned, trapped in the sinking submarine. The demand for intelligence was never more closely linked to individual sacrifice, but the two men did not die in vain. Just 3 weeks later, the documents taken from the U-559, including the U-boat's short signal and weather signal codebooks, arrived at Bletchley Park. This pinch provided Bletchley Park codebreakers with a priceless tool to outbreak the four-rotor enigma. Within an hour of breaking sharp the U-boat code, 15 U-boat positions were identified, and was able to read naval traffic and crack Enigma codes for the remainder of the war. This enabled the Admiralty to reroute the vital convoys to and from the USA, saving thousands of tons of shipping and countless lives.
June 1944, British, American and Canadian troops landed on the French coast in Normandy. The code name for the invasion was Operation Overlord, and it signaled the beginning of the end of the war in Europe. Bletchley Park played an important part in Operation Overlord. What happened was this. British intelligence put out false information that an invasion was going to take place not in Normandy, but in the northernmost part of France. Back at Bletchley, the codebreakers worked day and night to decipher both Lorenz and Enigma messages, which confirmed that the Germans remained deceived about the venue for the actual D-Day landings. They were able to confirm that Hitler believed the Allies were going to invade northern France 9, even if his chiefs didn't necessarily agree. When Operation Overlord began, German defences were split between Normandy and Calais.
Look at that, guys, we've even got some urbex on site. I could technically get in there, but I won't today, that's for sure.
I'll go back there before it gets taken out.
This place is simply a maze of underground corridors and rooms, and nobody knew what each other was doing back in the day. As I said before, we've got to remember that although everything's based around Enigma, it's the actual deciphering of the code within it that there was a challenge, and it was the likes of Colossus and the Bomb, which were the machines that decipher it, rather than the Enigma itself that helped us take 2 years off the war. whilst gathering a latte and a chocolate bar depicting my father's name. It was his birthday on Guy Fawkes. I picked up an Italian campaign medal. That is a Sherman of the 8th Armoured Brigade, British Forces. My grandfather would have received one of these medals if he would have accepted them, which he refused because he lost too many friends during the war. He would have received this medal, the Italian star. I think there's an African star he would have got as well, where he was sent before that. This was for his combat he would have got in taking Monte Cassino. He would have got the African star. There's a campaign, I don't know if it's a service or a campaign medal. I've actually got that medal at home, but that was from my great gran, who was oh, I forgot what the name of them was. They would go around, they would have like a pith helmet on, and they would go around with a torch and tell everyone to put their lights out and whatever and paint their windows black at night during the Blitz. She got that medal and I've got that safely at home. But yeah, just a little trinket, just a reminder on this day of all days. Well guys, that for us was another good visit. The giving a go of the technology, the headset, etc., and all the information, that sort of brought something different to the picture. Basically, we generally walk around, see things, but people actually describing it and people's voices and what happened, who's who, etc., really brought it to life for us. So we enjoyed that, and it's free, so you go in there, grab yourself a headset for sure. With that guys, we are off to London in the next week's vlog, so we are going to be doing a trip around the Disney store just to see what's coming up. Obviously with Christmas on our doorstep, there's going to be all the gifts and ideas in there. From there, there is a Disney Expo, it's a Disney exhibition celebrating 100 years of Disney himself. That's the man, the theme parks, the films, etc., the whole genre. That I'm not sure where it is, but we're booked into it. Yeah, that does help. We have paid, we booked into it. I have to look into it and how we're going to get to it. We'll obviously travel by train and get tubes to wherever the exhibition's going to be. Come back out of that because we're going in for 5 o'clock, so it will be dark when we leave. It will be Christmas lights time, so we'll have a look up Oxford Street, Regent Street. Not going to do the whole lot, just a few glimpses, because we then purchased tickets for Winter Wonderland, so we can give you an outlook, see what's happening there, just a tour, what's available, what's on site, etc., and then make our way home. But that's next week. Hopefully the weather will be good, we just don't know. I said with this video today, I let it run a bit. I sort of let the technology take over as opposed to me babbling on like I normally do. So I hope it comes across well. I filmed a D-Day bit specifically, which is all within a cinema part. You're allowed to do it, so that's not a problem. I'll probably put it up separately because it's about 11 minutes long. And with that guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will see you in the movies. Bye for now.